come on up if you don't want to be seen walking up. There you go.
Two-minute warning. 2-minute warning. It's not 12:45 yet. No, it's okay.
Did everybody get an envelope? Does everybody know there's a treat waiting for you in the parish hall afterwards? What are they called, Rabbi?
Hamantaschen.
What's that?
How long do you have?
30 to 35 seconds.
They're triangular-shaped cookies that are filled with fruit, usually. They're very popular ones that have poppy seeds in them. They were supposed to...
We have apricot and raspberry.
Okay, never mind. And they're supposed to theoretically resemble the ears of the villain in the story Haman. Wait, I'll say it again. Haman. Thank you. Cool.
So do you know that when you hear the word Haman, we boo?
Yes, that's okay. It's permitted. It'll hurt him, but he'll get over it. Okay.
I'm checking to see if we're ready.
Well, according to this, it's 12:45. So.
We're ready. Yes, we wrote okay.
And much to my surprise, looked like I discovered in the rector's podium. Wow. I knew I loved this place. Are we ready? And long, long ago, very far away, in the ancient land of Persia, there was a party going on in the capital city of Shushan. It was a very stormy night.
Please find out if Mrs. Vashti is ready to come down.
Right away, sir. Oh my goodness! Vashti is dead.
Stop! Welcome to Purim Clue, the game. Each family received an envelope upon entering. Now you may open the envelope. Inside you will find a clue sheet and a pencil. The clue sheet lists the suspects, the weapons, and the rooms. Your job is to solve the murder of Mrs. Vashti.
We need a detective to solve this. Is there a detective in the house?
Oh, Joe, here I am. Yes, Detective M. Sherlock Schlemiel at your service. But you can call me Mortified. So, what's the problem? Not here, too. I thought the court system was bad enough. But at a Purim Spiel?
It must be those suspenders again.
Well, if you really need me to, I guess I can...
No. I don't think that's necessary in the church.
Mrs. Vashti has been murdered.
And who are you?
I am Haman. I am Major Achashverosh's administrative assistant. His party was to be hosted by Mrs. Vashti.
Oh, this is dreadful. What am I supposed to do? Who is going to host my party?
And who might you be?
I am Major Akashverosh, and guests are arriving. What shall I do?
Continue with the party, because the murderer always returns to the scene of the crime.
The guests have arrived. They include Miss Esther, Mrs. Haman, Colonel Ketchup, Professor Peach, Mr. White, Miss Scarlet, Father Brother, Brother Father, Maxine Headroom, Miss Take, and the Schwartz twins.
So, Mr. Haman, how do I get a new executive social secretary?
Why don't you interview the female guests for the position, and then choose any one of them you wish?
Ah, Mr. Haman, you always have such good ideas.
When Detective M. Sherlock Schlemiel, better known as Mordecai, notices Miss Esther, he surreptitiously walks over to her behind a potted plant.
Esther, my dear niece, what are you doing here?
Major Akashverosh invited everyone from the office, so I had to attend.
Okay, but be careful. I think that this is a bias crime. So don't tell anyone that you are a Jew and also my niece.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those who haven't heard the dreadful news, Mrs. Vashti has been murdered. Detective M. Sherlock Schlemiel is investigating this heinous crime. Unfortunately, you are all suspect. But we must have a hostess for the party. If all the ladies would please line up, Major Achashverosh will select an executive secretary from amongst you.
All of the female guests lined up and passed by Major Achashverosh. Upon seeing Miss Esther, the major blurts out,
She's the one.
I.
Yes, dear, I know how you feel.
I must continue my investigation. Who discovered the body?
I did.
And where was she found?
I found the body in the hallway, but it was moved.
I saw one of her shoes on the stairs.
And who on God's green earth are you?
I am Mrs. Haman.
I need to know where everyone was just before the murder.
Well, I was on my way to Vashti's room.
Uh-huh. And who saw you?
The colonel sent me.
Huh. And who are you, and where were you at the time of the murder?
I'm Colonel Ketchup, and I was in the kitchen making sandwiches.
And you, Pastor?
I'm Father Brother, the corporate cleric. I was in the chapel putting the final finishing touches on this evening's benediction.
And who are you, Pastor?
I'm Brother Father, Father Brother's assistant. I was in the chapel with Father Brother and can attest that he was crafting a most splendid sermon at the time.
And I can attest to that because I was in the drawing room next door working on my new novel, A Visitor's Guide to Staying Home During a Pandemic, when I heard the unmistakable clack of his typewriter.
Someone still uses a typewriter these days?
Not only that, but are you ready for this? He uses a brother.
Do you mean that someone other than Brother Father assists Father Brother in the crafting of his sermons?
No, silly. Father Brother uses a brother typewriter.
And who are you? And most importantly, where were you?
I am Professor Peach. I was outside tying up the furniture before the dreadful storm got any worse. I saw the window open, and this towel with blood on it blew out. I then saw Father Brother's head peek out.
Father?
Brother?
I can explain.
There will be ample time to explain, Father, and you too, brother. And who are you two?
I am Schwartz.
And I am Schwartz.
We are twins from another mother. We were in our room. I was cleaning my revolver when the lights went out. It startled me, and the gun went off accidentally.
Accidentally, my foot. That is, he shot my foot.
Oh, it only grazed it.
And what about you?
I'm Mr. White the plumber, and I was in the billiard room fixing the bar when the lights went out.
And who might you be?
I am Miss Scarlet, and I was leaving the conservatory when the lights went out. As they came back on, I saw a lead pipe lying on the floor. This was so curious.
And who are you, miss?
I am Miss Esther, and I was in my room lighting candles because the lights had gone out.
And who or what are you?
I am Maxine Headroom, and I live in every room in this house, sometimes singularly and sometimes in plural.
And did you see anything?
Sometimes I see things, and sometimes I see everything.
Well, you're clearly someone or something that I must speak with in greater detail.
Let me check my appointment calendar. I'll get back to you on that.
And in the meantime, I must go investigate the crime scene.
On the way, Mordecai hears Schwartz and Schwartz arguing.
You fool. Why did you tell him that you were cleaning your gun?
Me? Why did you tell him the gun went off?
And you shot me in the foot.
How are we ever going to fulfill our assignment to assassinate Major Ahasuerus? That schlemiel of a detective will probably want our gun.
Ha! You're only partially correct. You're both under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder.
Mordecai turns in Schwartz and Schwartz to Mr. Haman. Mr. Haman puts a note about it in the Major's daily register. Mordecai continues his investigation. He is turning the house upside down and upsetting Mr. Haman in the process. Mr. Haman definitely does not like Mordecai. He goes to see Major Ahasuerus, unaware that Maxine follows him from room to room.
Major Ahasuerus, we have a suspicious group of employees I wanted to tell you about. They always refuse our food, and they always speak in a weird, coded language. They are also lazy and leave work early every Friday.
Tell me, who are they?
It is the Jews. You should give them all pink slips.
I agree. Another wonderful idea, Mr. Haman. Thank you for your advice. In fact, I hereby promote you to Executive Vice President. Send out a memo.
Mordecai continues investigating, checking out the alibis of all the suspects. Meanwhile, Major Ahasuerus was having difficulty falling asleep. He summons Mr. Haman.
Mr. Haman, I cannot fall asleep. would you please read to me from my daily register?
Mr. Haman read aloud the episode about Mordecai discovering the plot to assassinate Major Achashverosh. Since Mr. Haman is so detail-oriented, he wrote down every single detail. Major Achashverosh had not heard of this and said,
Mr. Haman, what should our company do to honor an outstanding employee?
Mr. Haman thought that the Major was talking about him and replied,
Well, Major, I would suggest that you have the employee chauffeured around in your beautiful Bentley with a beautiful colored placard on the back.
Splendid idea, Mr. Haman. The person whom I wish to honor is Detective M. Sherlock Schlemiel, who foiled the assassin's plot, and I want you to personally drive him around town.
Mr. Haman fumed as he chauffeured the Jew around town and then returned to his office.
Bad day, dear.
Don't even ask. Take a memo. To all employees of the Jewish faith, termination notice is hereby given effective Adar 13. You may pick up your last checks from my office. Signed, Mr. Haman, Executive Vice President, and print it on the lovely pink paper.
Oh, I love it when you're so mean.
I've just gotten started.
Mordecai sees the memo and brings it to Miss Esther.
Miss Esther, have you seen this memo? Mr. Haman has arranged for all the Jews to be fired. Every Jew is supposed to receive a pink slip today.
But Uncle, I don't have to worry. No one knows that I'm a Jew.
True, but you have a responsibility to your people. You are in a good company position now as Executive Social Secretary. Major Achashverosh will listen to you.
Okay, Uncle. I'll give it a try.
Miss Esther summoned up the courage to go to speak to the Major.
Who is there?
It is I, Miss Esther.
Ah, yes, you delightful young lady. Please come in. What may I do for you?
Well, I would like to give a party this evening. Things have been so dreary since the murder. I thought a dinner party may cheer everyone up.
Well, it sounds like there is someone else who speaks like me.
Capital idea, Miss Esther.
I would invite you, Mr. Haman, Detective M. Sherlock Schlemiel, and all of your house guests. Cocktails at 6 p.m.
Miss Esther made all of the arrangements and hoped to find the courage to appeal to the Major. Mordecai continued to review the clues. All of you should check your clues as well as we review what we know up to now. We know the following when the lights went out. Well, actually, I know the following. You will just have to believe me. 1. Mrs. Vashti was in the bedroom. 2. Mr. Haman was on his way to the bedroom, but he found the body in the hallway. 3. Mrs. Haman found a shoe on the staircase. 4. Major Achashverosh was in the ballroom. 5. Colonel Ketchup was in the kitchen making sandwiches. 6. Father Brother was in the chapel writing a benediction. 7. Brother Father was in the chapel assisting Father Brother. 8. Professor Peach was outside tying up the lawn furniture. He caught a bloody towel, and looking up, he saw an open window with Father Brother looking out. 9, Schwartz and Schwartz were in their room cleaning the revolver. 10, Mr. White was in the billiard room repairing the plumbing. 11, Miss Scarlett was leaving the conservatory and found the lead pipe when the lights came back on. 12, Miss Esther was in her room lighting candles. 13, Miss Take was in the drawing room writing her novel. They all meet in the ballroom, and everyone had a lovely time. Mordecai observed the guests closely while glancing at Miss Esther.
May I have your attention, please? I'm so pleased that you could all attend. I want to
Her uncle urged her on.
invite you to another party tomorrow night. Cocktails at 6:30.
The sauce thickens.
Her uncle was severely disappointed, but he delayed saying anything until the next evening. Everyone gathered for cocktails when Miss Esther spoke.
Major Achashverosh and dear guests, I'm so glad that all of you could attend. My presence here is in serious danger, and I must tell you. There is someone who wants to fire me for no good reason, just because I am a...
Clue! I have a clue! I found this candlestick in Mrs. Vashti's room, and it has a dent on it and blood. And we all know who was lighting candles.
Miss Esther!
What? I haven't seen that candlestick for months. I thought I misplaced it, but I don't know why it was found in Mrs. Vashti's room. I left the candles in my room when...
But you were lighting the candles in your room before the blackout, just like you do every Friday, because you are a Jew.
Yes, I am a Jew, and proud of it. The person who wants to fire me is...
I solved it. I know who the murderer is. Or should I say murderers? Mr. and Mrs. Heyman?
The Haymans?
Yes, the Haymans.
Who, what, where, why, how, when?
This is how it happened. Check your cards. Colonel Ketchup was in the kitchen making cucumber sandwiches using the knife.
Sandwiches. When the lights went out, I cut myself. That is why there was blood on the knife.
And this Take was in the drawing room writing her novel.
Yes, I was composing the next great American novel. Pulitzer's prize-worthy, if you ask me. A Visitor's Guide to Staying Home During the Pandemic. I heard a loud grunt and the most embarrassing thing, an obscenity uttered in the chapel from Father Brother. I was so shocked by this that I nearly fainted when I heard it.
Father Brother?
Well, I confess. I uttered an obscenity. I was composing the benediction when the lights went out. I tried to open the window in the chapel to see the impending storm when I cut my hand on that old jagged handle. I quickly found a towel and went to close the window when the wind caught it and blew it away. I watched it sail towards Professor Peach, then I shut the window.
It was exactly as he described it, because I was there. I couldn't even get the handle to budge when Father Brother said that he would try. That's when he cut his hand. I'm prepared to swear that on my trusty 25-pound Bible, and that is the truth.
Well, Brother Father, you are aware that your trusty Bible has the potential of being a murder weapon. But I would prefer not to go there. Your chronology of events, Father Brother, makes sense, as precisely at that moment, Professor Peach was tying up the lawn furniture due to the approaching storm. A sudden gust of wind blew the furniture and...
which ripped the rope right out of my hands. That is why there was blood on the rope.
Precisely. And then Schwartz and Schwartz were really in their room cleaning their revolver, which they had brought finished with their planned assassination of Major Achashverosh. The gun accidentally went off when the lights went out. Mr. White, who is a plumber, he was called in by Mr. Haman to repair the plumbing in the billiard room. He had the wrench on a pipe.
When the lights went out and I cut my arm on the pipe, that's why there's blood on my little wrench.
And on his way to get a Band-Aid, the lead pipe fell out of his back pocket, the same lead pipe that Miss Scarlet picked up.
As I left the conservatory, I cut my hand on it when I picked it up.
Exactly. And Miss Esther was indeed in her room lighting the Sabbath candles as she does every Friday evening. I know this for a fact because she is my niece.
But you have not proven that I killed Vashti, which I might add is preposterous.
Mr. Haman, Mrs. Vashti had proof that you were skimming off the books, so you had to create a plan to kill her. You knew of the party that night and of the approaching storm. You also knew that Miss Esther was Jewish because you spied on her when you traveled through the house in your secret passageway through this door. So, when the Major sent you to get Mrs. Vashti, you passed by Mrs. Haman waiting on the staircase near the circuit box. When the thunder was heard, Mrs. Haman flipped the power switch off and left an old shoe on the stairs. You grabbed one of Miss Esther's old candlesticks that you had stolen and hurried to Mrs. Vashti's room. You killed Mrs. Vashti and dragged her body into the hallway. Remember, you said that her body was moved?
Brilliant.
Bravo!
I knew the answer all along.
Oh, if you knew the answer all along, Miss Smarty Pants, why didn't you say anything in the beginning?
Well, if I gave away the answer at the beginning, there would not have been a Purim Spiel, and all of you would have been home napping by now. That's the power of computers to keep you busy when you don't have to be. And I must say that I did a wonderful job, Emmy Award-worthy, quite modestly.
Schwartz, and Mr. and Mrs. Haman were all arrested. And in honor of Detective M. Sherlock Schlemiel, Major Achashverosh held a dinner party every year called Purim. The end.